Hello everyone, Counterspell Hater here, back with another EDH request. This time it is for Kethis the Hidden Hand. If you want to have one of your requests fulfilled on this channel, then all you have to do is be first comment on this video and type in the name of the commander you want to see, or if you want to see a certain style, do that too, like enchantments for XYZ. Just type in the name. And while you're there, please like and subscribe. Thank you to all 31 of you who are currently subscribed to my channel. Hit the like button. Keep giving me feedback regardless of whether or not you're first. I'd like to hear from you guys. All the positive support really means something to me. Hit the notification bell, that way you don't miss another video on this channel. And share this video along with other videos found on my channel with other people. With that said, let's get into this request made by one of my fellow viewers and commenters. Kethis the Hidden Hand. So this is kind of a graveyard manners deck. So, you know, if it isn't a land, it's legendary. Just saying. For this commander guide, you don't have to go all legendary, but that's how I did. Like I said, whether it's a request or a guide, this is just to get you pointed in the right direction. But what we want to do is kind of fill up our graveyard, maybe, but also get as much. This is kind of a value deck, is what I'm trying to say. So, since most of these in here are creatures, we have Nylea Kenai to make creature spells we cast cost one less to cast, and to help us find other creature cards. And we can also put, and if it's not a creature card, we can put it into our graveyard. Karametra for ramp. Primeval's Glorious Rebirth. Since we're able to cast just any legendary spell, because Kethis doesn't say legendary creature spells, he just says spells. So this means we can also cast Primeval's Glorious Rebirth, and instead of having to spend a whole bunch of mana on casting each individual card in our graveyard, we can just use Primeval's Glorious Rebirth and return all legendary permanent cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. And that includes lands if they are legendary too. Vorinclex Voice of Hunger for ramp, and to put a big dent in our opponent's plan, since it can kind of cripple their mana base. Sheoldred Whispering One can save us some mana by reanimating a creature at the beginning of our upkeep, and whittles away at our opponent's support states at their upkeep. Godbrow's Statue kind of just be annoying, but a little bit more controlling and slowly whittle away at our opponent's life totals. Thran Temporal Gateway to get us as much value as possible within a turn, since we're playing all this guide showcases all legendaries. Well, not all legendaries, but like the permanents that are showcased here are all legendary. But you can also put down artifacts and sagas if you have them, because those are historic too, like Chromatic, or even if it wasn't legendary, you could still put it on the battlefield with Thran Temporal Gateway. But this allows us to cast even more stuff, because it gives us an even more flexible mana base. Allows us to control, like, we don't have to worry about tapping certain, like saving lands. We can just cast it and say it's fine. This also can give us 5 mana, and can draw us a decent amount of cards. The Circle of Loyalty to build us an army for whenever we cast a legendary spell, and to buff up our board. Mox Amber, easy mana ramp. Kamal's Druidic Vow. This is mana ramp at a much greater degree. Not to mention, it allows us to put legendary permanents with converted mana cost X or less from among them onto the battlefield, and can put stuff into our graveyard if we really need it. Arvad the Cursed buffs up our legendary creatures. Massacre Girl, kill a lot of things within a turn if need be. So it can really just wipe the heck out of white players' board states, and because of that, kill some big creatures as well, like a 15/15 could end up dying that turn, like a Kozilek or a oh, what is that? World Spine Worm. Not the card I'm thinking of, but it was a 16/16 with Indestructible and Convoke. I don't know. But moving on, we have Tristani Selesnia's Voice to gain us life. And maybe even create some tokens with Populate. Dragon Lord Dramoka. This kind of gives us some more security on our turns because our opponents aren't able to cast spells during our turn, which means they aren't really able to interfere all that much. I mean, not being able to cast spells on your opponent's turn, that really limits your options. Well, our options for our opponents in this case, because we're the ones playing this deck. So definitely would recommend that in this deck. That way your opponent isn't messing with you, at least on your turn. Teysa, Envoy of Ghosts, kind of swing attention away from you and punish anyone or really any creatures that are able to deal combat damage to you. And protection for creatures, so that's nice. Yoshimaru, Ever Faithful, I think it is. It gets buffed up every time legendary permanent enters the battlefield under our control. Urza's Ruinous Blast. This is a really big one-sided board wipe. Because if your opponents don't have many legendary permanents, then this could end up winning you the game. Not to mention, you are able to cast this multiple times as long as you're able to as long as you have the mana to cast it from your graveyard. Tristani Discordant to buff up our board, and it can create some 1/1s. But more importantly, Tristani is in here to make sure that our creatures stay under our control. Asian of Treachery players or players who like to mess with board states, whether that's gaining control of something temporarily for a turn. But this is just to make sure that no one can really make use of our creatures. Kamal, Heart of Krosa, to buff up our creatures on combat and give them trample. Omnath for mana in case we don't have anything good to do with green mana specifically. Rikai, the History of Kamigawa, to draw us cards. Tayam, Luminous Enigma, give us vigilance and remove counters from one creature we control to mill ourselves and maybe return some things. Ikra Shadiki, the usurper, I don't know. Help us gain some life back if we ever lose any. Maja, Batrigard Protector, buff up our board and make us some tokens whenever laner is about to. Kodama, the East Tree, can help us cheat out a lot of stuff. That way we can make use of the mana we have on our turn and get out as much as possible. And this could help us if like we need to block a lot of things. Maga, Trader of Mortals. Since you're able to cast this from your graveyard, you can this could end up, you could end up pumping a lot into X, as opposed to when you previously cast it. So because you could be casting this for like X equals 3 on one turn, and then when you cast it from your graveyard, you could have enough mana for it to be like X equals 15 then on that turn. Kozilek, the Great Distortion. I will admit I didn't include any waste in here, but I think Chromatic Auric will work for that. But if not, then just don't play Kozilek, I guess. But this is, and this isn't a counter spell, but first of all, card draw, but we are able to counter target's spells. However, maybe not all that much, considering that your opponent could be casting a lot of spells that don't have the same CNC as like cards in your hand. But this can help us if we are in a dire situation where we need to counter something. So this isn't hypocritical of me. Just saying. Ulamog, the Infinite Gyre. For Annihilator 4 to wheel away at our opponent's board states. And also an indestructible blocker, quite possibly. Although it does shuffle itself into our library if it's put into our graveyard from anywhere. But oh, it shuffles our entire graveyard. So actually, this could be quite detrimental. So actually, I probably wouldn't recommend playing this unless you do. Although this can save you from milling out, however. So actually, I probably would keep this in here if I were you, because there is the danger that you do mill out. And being prepared for every situation is always a good thing, especially in Magic. Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger. This could just end the game. And especially in this deck, since it can come back, which is really scary. Although your opponent just has to exile this and then it's over. Or they counter it, but if they counter it, it doesn't counter the cast trigger, which exiles 2 target permanents. So even if your opponent does stop this, you get a benefit one way or another. Vorinclex, Monstrous Raider, putting another dent in our opponent's plans when it comes to putting counters on permanents and our players that are not, that are or not theirs. But it also doubles up the number of counters we put on players and or permanents. Vorinclex. Oops. Accidentally put Vorinclex in here twice. You could probably, if you wanted to, maybe replace this with Bolas's Citadel. That'd be a good one. But I kind of give there. Frosta, Tempest Roar. This is a nice creature because it can end up being really cheap. And that's not even when we cast it from our hand, but like including casting from our graveyard. And not to mention it tramples over planeswalkers and it has trample and haste. And it has hexproof as long as it's on our battlefield this turn. All in all, amazing attacker. Gargo's Vicious Watcher to protect our creatures. Well, because the threat of an 8/7 fighting a creature we don't control probably is going to scare away a lot of spells. And if it doesn't, we can pick out one of the most valuable creatures on the other side of the table and just kill it if it doesn't have indestructible or something. Molimo, Marrow Sorcerer, to take advantage of lands. Polvori, God of Kinship, is an amazing creature in this deck. Definitely would recommend it. Because she can find legendary creatures for you. And if you're playing tribal, the Ringheart Crest could also be for you. Vivian's Arcbow is in here to put to help us discard cards so we can put stuff into our graveyard and cheat out stuff from our library. Izoni, Thousand-Eyed, can get us a lot of bugs with enough time. And can gain us some life back and draw some cards. Like I said, whole thing with Izoni is kind of like, who is it? Sorry, I forgot. Sorry, I'm trying to get an example here. Just like Maga, Trader of Mortals. There we go. Sorry for that. But just like Maga, Trader of Mortals, is only Thousand-Eyed. Can kind of be about timing. Like one turn you could get 3, next another turn, like you catch her from your graveyard thanks to Kethis, and then suddenly you've got a bunch of legendary creatures and like 16 1/1s. Gerard, Golgari, Lichlord, again, graveyard synergy, and we can sacrifice creatures to drain our opponents. Mazrek to go along with it to buff up our entire board whenever a player sacrifices stuff. Valentine? I don't think that's how her name is pronounced. Then Dean of the Vein. This side is in here to exile scary stuff that we don't want our opponents reanimating and help us create tokens. And this side is in here for when we do gain life. Polukranos, the Unchained. If we don't really want to cast more than one creature from our graveyard and we just want like a big blocker or something, or a big attacker or something to scare away our opponents, this card having the option of being cast via escape is pretty nice in this deck. Because I mean, if it escapes, then it's a 12/12 as opposed to being a 6/6. Still 4 mana 6/6, and being able to cast it from your graveyard is still pretty nice, and it can fight creatures and get rid of them. Belladrop's Witherbloom. So we can pay life and untap our lands. However, we can only activate that ability only once each turn. However, there is a workaround for this. I believe because of how the card works, if you were to sacrifice it, then it's like it never activated that ability. So then if you were to reanimate it, it'd be like completely renewed. So that means it'd be like, hey, you're able to use this ability because you haven't used it yet this turn, even though you had used it just on that same turn. Kind of get what I'm saying? Old Gnawbone, help us create treasures, well, and give us a reason to attack. Azusa, Lost with Seeking for ramp. Ashaya Soul the Wild can be a big creature and help us ramp even more. Kaya the Inexorable for ultimate, since it's all about legendary spells and being able to cast them without paying their mana cost. You could pause to read her other abilities. Godbait, Guru of Spores, kind of buff up our army while sacrificing creatures or making use of possible counters already on our creatures to make an army. Brina, the Demagogue, for politics and buffing up our creatures to kind of go along with this. Next, we have Windbrisk Kites and Mossford Bridge for Hideaway, because we're definitely going to have 3 more creatures that we're able to attack within a turn, and we're definitely going to have a total power of 10 or greater in our creatures. And then we have 16 swamps, 16 forests, and 16 plains, all basic. And with that said, that is the end of this EDH request starring Kethis the Hidden Hand. I hope you enjoyed this request. If you want a request of yours fulfilled on this channel, then please be the first to comment and let me know by typing the name of said creator in. Thank you for whoever made this request. So I couldn't get to this sooner. That's why I'm doing this now. But I will promise you guys that I will get to your requests as soon as possible. Sometimes I just don't see them because I'm at school. And having to check my comments because I kind of give my videos a bit. But I will definitely fulfill my end of the bargain. All right, I can promise you that. But with that said, please like and subscribe. Thank you to the 31 of you who are currently subscribed, and you can be one of those people and increase that number of subscribers. So please do like this video and my other videos. Like I said, don't forget to comment. Even if you're not first, please comment anyways. I like to see feedback from you guys. I really appreciate it a lot. It shows me your support and how much you care for this channel, and it encourages me to keep going on with it. And don't forget to hit the notification bell. That way you don't miss another one of my videos on this channel. And don't forget to share this video along with other videos found on my channel with others. That is going to be it. See you all in the next video.